Well, I did not want to make this video. But you guys want to see more content on the Konas, so I'm going to give it to you, even though this video is not a good one. And as you can tell, we're definitely not sitting in Krack'N. We're sitting in Coco. And there's quite a few things we need to talk about. So if you guys don't already know, Coco is my daily driver. It is my 2021 Kona Night Edition. I picked it up from Faulkner Hyundai of Harrisburg 8 months ago. And it takes over as my daily driver. It is my fuel efficient car. It is my boring daily, even though it's pretty sprightly. Just something I could put the miles on without having to worry about the wear and tear on the end, and also keeping it in good condition because I've spent way too much money on that car. But and I'm very, very particular. But that's besides the point. This thing's got a few issues. I'm just going to get this off the bat. I am in no way bashing the Faulkner brand. But I'm going to be blunt and honest, and yes, I will say their name a couple of times. This is in no way to degrade or shame Faulkner, but it's to give anyone who actually could be potentially searching for them. If you stumble upon my channel and are from Pennsylvania, you guys are great. Thank you guys. I seriously hope you consider subscribing or liking, sharing, commenting, whatever. But I aim to be fully transparent, and yeah, I can sometimes come off as blunt and honest, but this is just my experience with how things are going and trying to get this vehicle fixed. Now that that's out of the way, without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. I'm going to start with my smaller problems, and then I'm going to go up through the list up to the biggest issue. But we're going to start off with the first issue that I'm having, and it is a steering rack noise that happens at a standstill and when you turn the wheel repeatedly side to side. Now, I'm getting somewhat of like a whirring noise. It sounds like almost as if something is in between the steering wheel pod and the shaft that the steering wheel connects to, like, you know, or like a clip hanging on the windshield wiper and it's just rubbing up against the steering wheel. It kind of sounds like that, but it's very faint, which is why I've put this at the bottom of my list. It's a small nitpick, but it's just, it's annoying because I hear every little noise, and when I don't hear a very common noise, it always perks me up. Issue number 2, the blower motor makes a squealing noise on fan speed 1. And I'll throw a video up here on the side of it actually happening, but on fan speed 1, it doesn't matter where it is directed to, you will hear this like tweet, 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 tweet noise, and it's repeated. It's repetitive. It's really annoying, and it seems to be coming from the passenger side footwell, because I pulled my camera down there and you guys could probably hear it. It's actually kind of loud, and when I first got this car, it never made that noise. Now all of a sudden it is, which is concerning to me. But now we're going on to issue number 3, and that has to deal with the passenger blind spot. For some reason I know there was a TSB out about this, but I can't seem to find it. I think it was to do with the calibration of the blind spot sensor and replacing it, but I almost could have sworn there was a document out on the Konas for this blind spot, because it is apparently a big issue that is solvable by a software update. But if you guys don't know this issue, it is actually a issue with the blind spot sensor detecting things in the passenger side that are not there. And there's been plenty of occasions that I have too many to count on my own 2 hands and 2 feet, where the blind spot goes off and I go to put my turn signal on to get back over into a fully clear right lane, and all it does is frickin' start yelling at me. And I'm like, there is nothing there. Why are you detecting something? It's very annoying. It's done it on the driver's side, but it has not, I think it's only ever done it once or twice maybe. The passenger side, it does it all the time, and it's very, very annoying. Issue number 4, the second to last issue, so we're starting to get into the really big ones. I cannot fill this thing up with gas half the time. I've noticed a pattern in the cold when it's below freezing or just about there. I can be at any amount of gas other than full. I could be at an empty tank. I could be running basically on fumes. I go and fill it up, and I put mid-grade gas in it because this one's the turbo model, and it's just better to put higher octane in turbo models. In about 30 seconds, pop. I go and click it and hold it down again, pop. And I'm like, this car is not full. There's either something wrong with the purge valve in the fueling system, or there's an issue with the charcoal canister, which is probably what I'm betting on. But I have to literally stand outside and hold it at a very specific position, not fully inserted. And I also have to hold the trigger
as soon as I do that,
and make sure it doesn't pop again, because if I have it too much, just even the slightest, it'll pop. And it's annoying how I have to sit out there and do that, especially when it's freezing cold. Now, we're going to get to the big issue here. And this is probably where I'm going to start going off a little bit, and it's probably going to get lengthy in this section. So if you guys do want to skip it, feel free to. I'm going to try to remember to throw timestamps in there. But the biggest issue that I'm having with my 2021 Kona-tent Coco is the frickin' DCT. It is a very, very hot topic in Hyundai forums with this 7-speed D7 UF1 dry dual clutch. I've owned two Tucsons before, so you can see Turbo and Turbo. They're both 2016. They were both one of the first vehicles to come out with the 7-speed. I think the Sonata was the first one to come out with the 7-speed. Maybe the Elantra too. But in the multiple renditions that have happened since the 2016 Tucsons, they said that this newer Kona that has this transmission, which is the same transmission and engine code, by the way, has had multiple software updates to make it more refined. I say refined in quotation marks because it's utter garbage. I've caught this thing 3 times, slipping clutch so bad that it revved the car from 2,000 to 3,500 RPM before jolting and bucking back into gear after shifting. Yep. And I will throw videos up here of it doing so. I've caught it doing the moderate slip. I have yet to catch it doing the full one, but if I can catch it doing the full one, I'll put it up here in the video. But it hurts, it jerks, it slams into gear, it hesitates,
there was clutch slip.
The Tucsons I had before this never did this. And keep in mind, the first Tucson I totaled, and it had 44,000 miles on it. That had no issues with the transmission. The second one I bought with 26,000 miles on it and sold it with 93 to get Krack'N. Yeah, I may have had to replace the clutch packs at 80,000 because I was stupid and put a tune on a Tucson. But we all are when we're starting off as a car enthusiast. But even then, I still did not have clutch slip like that. It's... what? Why? Why? Hyundai will tell you, it's better programmed. No, it is not. I will just straight up, you guys got brown eyes because you're full of it. I bought this to be a reliable daily driver. And I cannot call it reliable if the transmission's slipping like it is. And it's not like I drive it like I stole it. I mean, yeah, it's my nice beater, but it's very annoying when you go to step on the gas and it just goes like it slips all the time. And it's whether it be 250 RPM, 500 RPM, 750, or as much as 1,500. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing slipped 2,000. Because it slipped 1,500 like 3 times in the past 2 weeks. So now we get to the next part of this whole extravaganza and this whole fan splatter crap show. And that's trying to get this thing into an appointment. Now, you guys heard me say in the beginning, I'm not trying to bash Faulkner in any way, but I'm being transparent and I am being blunt and honest. So this is just how this video is going to be, because I care about my transparency and honesty. On Thursday, which would be February the 21st, at about 4 o'clock, which was originally after I had started talking about this video and started putting this together before I scrapped it and made a new one for newer updates. I had called Faulkner Hyundai of Harrisburg, which is where I bought this car, to schedule an appointment to get this thing in to be fixed. I got left a voicemail. Okay, that's fine. They'll call me back, by the end of the day, or they'll call me back in the morning or by the end of the day on Friday. Left a voicemail. Friday came along. Didn't hear anything. Saturday came along. Didn't hear anything. You would think that they would call you on a Saturday, considering that the service department really is not busy on a Saturday, and that's a catch-up day for my old job. And I didn't hear anything until Monday morning at 9 o'clock when I decided to call them again. And I said, I'm trying to schedule an appointment. This is my second phone call. I called Thursday at 4 o'clock. Do not make me call again. Yep. That was a mistake. So I was running around and doing some errands. And while I was in the area, I decided to stop and say hi to my former boss, Debbie. I was over there and I told her that Faulkner Hyundai of Harrisburg was not cooperating with me. And she's like, really? And she's like, that's BS. And I'm like, right? And gotta love Debbie. You may be my former boss, but you're still the best one, period. Like, you are, but I'm not going to ramble on about that. She actually went onto Faulkner Hyundai Harrisburg's website, onto their staff page, and emailed the frickin' service manager for me. And she said, he's been trying to get in contact with you and all that sorts of stuff. And she gets an email back almost immediately by the service manager on it, is what he said. This was yesterday. It is currently the next day at 3:30. I've not heard anything back from Faulkner. At this point, I don't think I'm going to be hearing anything from Faulkner Hyundai of Harrisburg, because it's been almost an entire week of trying to schedule an appointment with them. Something as simple as calling you back, or just staying a few minutes after to catch up on your voicemails, like they do at Faulkner Volvo Cars of Lancaster, or calling me back first thing in the morning when they get in. They simply just cannot do that. And that is where I'm very frustrated, because there is a lot of customers that are probably being treated the exact same way. I bought this car there. I gave my hard-earned money to them. And I gave them great ratings because they got me into this thing while I was still at Faulkner so I could get an employee discount. And truthfully, sales was fantastic. Ethan Meisel was fantastic. Morgan was fantastic in finance. Everything about it was fantastic until it came to servicing. I've never had this bad experience with a dealership before. Even when I started having transmission issues on Turbo and I went to Piazza Hyundai at Pottstown, they didn't want to work on it because it was modified, obviously. The simple fact that I cannot get to someone, a real person, and not just a voicemail, and can't even schedule an appointment for service, that's pathetic. That is not customer service. That's called customer neglect. And I feel bad for my former boss trying to reach out because it didn't get anywhere. She took time out of her own day and she got somewhat stressed out about it, or a little bit upset. and it didn't mean anything. So I've got nothing but negative things to say about Faulkner Hyundai of Harrisburg's service. The sales, that's a completely different story. But service, avoid them at all costs because they cannot even reach out to a customer. So after work, I got on the phone with Lancaster Hyundai, and not to my surprise, they answered. I didn't have to leave a voicemail. I think I probably waited for the dial tone for like 5-10 seconds, and guess what? They answered. I just don't know what to say. I'm very disappointed with Faulkner. It is... I really do not want to criticize Faulkner because they could be a thing for N Club PA. But I'm not going to tolerate having to try to play phone tag with a dealership just to get my car fixed. Especially when it's under warranty. And it's still under very good warranty. I just don't know what to say. I seriously don't. But I won't be servicing from Faulkner Hyundai of Harrisburg anymore. Or attempting to. If I'm going anywhere for servicing, it is either going to be Piazza Hyundai of Pottstown or it's going to be Lancaster Hyundai. Because I know they will answer the phone. And if I leave a voicemail, they'll get back to me within the next day. And not the following week.
Alright, so I got a major update. About 30 minutes ago, Faulkner called me. Yep. And they were like, well, I seen that you were looking to schedule an appointment and my service manager and all this sorts of stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so it took you guys 5 days to call me back finally to schedule a service appointment. That is kind of pathetic. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but that was quite pathetic. And I didn't answer because I was at work, obviously, and I also was going to be very rude about it and be like, look, I don't know why it took 5 days for you to call me back finally to schedule a service appointment, but I'm doing it at another shop because they answered the phone the first time. And you guys don't know what customer service is because it's 5 days and having to get your service manager to get on your rear a day after he said he was going to be on it just does not leave a good taste in my mouth. So I do not think I will be doing business with Faulkner in the future, for the foreseeable future, as well as collaborating with them on N Club PA stuff.
So I was doing some... Oh my goodness. Come on, brain! Think! Where's your little head there? Oh my gosh, I can't even talk either. My brain's not working. It's in Florida or something, or it's in Colorado.